Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a Leuchtturm1917 A4 Master Slim review so far. So I have been using this journal since November. So this is the A4 size and this is the A5 size, so you can kind of see the size comparison. This thing is ginormous. So this size, for those of you who have not seen my past video, I kind of went over like how big it is exactly, but I'll just go over it again real quick. Basically, these pages are about twice the size of the A5 size journal. So, and they may actually be slightly bigger. And it does have half the number of pages as the A5 journal. So even though it has half the number of pages, it has about the same amount of paper. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, so I thought I would just kind of go over some of my pros and cons of this size of journal. And I'm gonna start with the cons first because I'm kind of a bad news first, good news later type of person. So I like to end on a positive note. So anyway, really, my favorite thing about it is the size, but it's also my least favorite thing. As far as comparing the A4 size to the A5 size, they're the exact same quality of paper, same wear resistance. So I've been using this for about a month and a half now, and it's holding up really well, and I'm really happy with the paper quality and all of that. So I guess my main complaint with the size is that it is too large to really take with you anywhere unless you have a desk that you're going to be sitting at. But even then, it's just too large. So my husband and I would often go on campus this semester and we'd go to the library to get our homework done, and I couldn't just hold this on my lap like I could with the A5 size, because sometimes the library is more full at different times, and so, you know, sometimes I can just like sit it on the desk and there's plenty of space and I don't have to worry about it, but other times when it's more crowded, it's just a little more awkward because I don't want to like have my journal laying out there for everyone to see, even if it is just my homework assignments. I would say it's too large to fit on your lap. It is kind of clunky, and I'm just not as comfortable just, you know, whipping it out in public and just working on it because it's just huge. But that's really my only negative, is just the size, just those things. So I'm gonna move on to the pros of having this large of a journal. So as I said earlier, my favorite thing about this journal is the size, even though it's also kind of my least favorite thing. But with the size, you really do get a few more options. I'm the kind of person, I love to, you know, tape in like mementos from different things that I've been to. And with the smaller A5 journal, you can only fit so much in there. But with the A4 size, so this is a program from a TED Talk that my husband gave last week. And, you know, I can fit this whole thing in here and have plenty of space to write around it still. But in the A5 journal, you know, it would have fit up the entire page if it would have fit at all, basically. So another thing with the size is I don't feel as stressed about running out of space on my pages, which is something that I felt kind of constrained to in the A5 size journal. Sometimes I wasn't sure if a half page would be enough for certain things, or even 1 page or 2 pages, but with these pages being as large as 2 A5 pages together, you really have a lot more options. You can use as much space as you want, and without worrying about running out. And something with this is I'm starting to relax a bit on how much space I'm letting myself use. I'll show you an example. When I first started in this journal, I was still, well, I'm still pretty collage-like, but this was my journaling pages. hopefully you can see that, but you can see that I used up every single square inch available, and that's how it was in my smaller journal, because I felt like I had to use up every single inch of that journal to make sure that I got everything in, and it was just kind of like stressful to make sure I left enough room for things. But with this journal, I feel like, you know, I'm actually giving myself more space. On my current weekly layout that I'm using right now, I'm starting to, this is this week's. So I'm starting to give myself more space, and I have some extra space at the bottom here even, which in my smaller journal would have totally stressed me out, because, you know, I'd be thinking, oh, I could have used that, you know, to journal in instead. But in this book, you know, it's really helping me kind of let go of that, and maybe I won't care about not using up all of the space so much when I go back to a smaller journal. But that's just something that this journal has maybe helped with, is I'm not so meticulous about how much space that I'm using on all of my spreads. So speaking of which, that's another thing, is with having so much space, you can have a lot more flexibility and creativity with your spreads. I'm not super creative. I'm pretty happy with just making whatever box in whatever shape and size that I need. But for those of you who want to explore more with more creative spreads, you know, you don't have to worry about being constrained by only so many dots wide and so many dots high. So overall, I just feel a lot more relaxed with this journal, even though I can't take it with me very many places as I would the smaller journal. So my end verdict is I will definitely be finishing out this journal, just filling it up to the end, but I don't know that I will necessarily use a journal this big again in the future that I can think of. Maybe I'll find some reason to, but as of right now, I will definitely go to a smaller journal. Okay, so that's all I've got for you. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, and hopefully everything I said made sense. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments and I will answer them. And I really hope that this review was helpful to someone out there who is thinking about switching to a larger journal. I have definitely enjoyed it, but there are also definitely things that I miss about a smaller journal. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!